It's a beautiful Friday night for baseball here at SunTrust Park, and a capacity crowd filing in for Bartolo Colon bobblehead night. And oh, by the way, the New York Mets are in town for the first of 4 games over the weekend. Should be a lot of fun. The Braves are 4-4 against New York so far this season. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome back to the ballpark. The Braves 2-2 so far on this homestand, and the Braves bats have been booming. They're averaging almost 5 runs per game here at SunTrust Park, and with the All-Star game right around the corner, Joe, there are a couple of offensive players for the Braves who deserve All-Star consideration.
Let's talk about them a little bit. They certainly do deserve the recognition that they've earned heartily here at the beginning of the season. We'll start with Ender Inciarte, who is catching everything in the outfield, but on top of that, he is swinging a hot bat right now, too. He has been on fire since about the middle of June. And for Matt Kemp, same thing. He went into a little 0 for 12 at the beginning of this homestand. That's the only dip in his average all year long. Take a look at some of the numbers for these guys. They're up near the top of the league in several different categories. And as I said, Inciarte up near the top defensively, too. I don't think the Braves would trade him for anybody right now.
It is fun to watch this Braves team swing the bats. Hopefully they'll have fun against Matt Harvey tonight. He goes for New York. Julio Teheran gets the series started for the Braves, and we'll get things going right after the break.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. For all, for less.
Our series with the Phillies is water under the bridge. Now we start anew with the New York Mets here at SunTrust Park. It's a perfect Friday night. Huge crowd filing in on a perfect evening. 82 degrees, slightly windy out of the west. Forecast sunny skies for game 1 of the series. A series that features Julio Teheran getting the ball for the Braves here at SunTrust. We know of his home problems tonight, Joe. We hope he fixes those.
Let's hope so. He's 5-4 with a 5.40 ERA. But take a look at this in history. His work against the New York Mets. Sandy Koufax, Jim Maloney, and Gene Garber are the only 3 guys who have allowed fewer hits per 9 innings against New York in their career than Julio Teheran with a minimum of 100 innings pitched. I thought that was mighty impressive because he is, against the Mets, 8-4 with a 2.62 ERA. His Ford Keys tonight. home walks, home runs, and that includes 30 innings of home work this year, with 15 walks in 30 innings at SunTrust Park, and 9 of the 14 home runs he's allowed have happened here. Places to go, that has to do with their lineup, the Mets. They've got 3 guys in the middle of the lineup that are red hot: Bruce, Flores, and Duda. If you have to pitch around those guys, you've got some places to go at the bottom of their order where they've got some guys that are not swinging the bat quite so well right now.
This is a team built to hit home runs. The Mets are doing that. They're 4th in the National League with 82 of them. And they've hit homers in 11 straight games away from Citi Field in New York. Michael Conforto leads off Terry Collins' Toyota starting 9. Lucas Duda has come back from his back problems. He's swinging the bat well, as Joe said. But at the bottom part, T.J. Rivera in for Neil Walker. He's banged up. Curtis Granderson hitting 200. Travis d'Arnaud is the catcher. He's hitting 8th. And Jose Reyes not in the lineup tonight in the midst of an 0 for 21 slump. And for Terry Collins, the bottom line is inconsistent offensive performances and devastating injuries to his pitching staff, which was to be the strength of the Mets club coming out of spring training.
Another key for Julio tonight might be the first inning. The Mets have scored 47 runs in the first inning. That's second in Major League Baseball to Milwaukee. And this guy Conforto, we've already seen him hit a first at-bat home run off Julio earlier this season.
And Conforto, you might remember, wasn't a sure thing to make their club out of spring training. Where in the world would the Mets be without Michael Conforto and his .303 average and 14 homers? And we're underway. The pitch just off the plate, says Mark Rippiger. 1 ball, no strikes for the Mets left fielder. At the knees, evens it up. As good as Michael has been right now, he's cooled off. 9 hits in his last 46 at bats dating back to May 25th. So don't put a struggling hitter on in front of those big boppers.
And these guys walk a lot. They're 6th in the league as a team in walks, and we know that Julio has been fighting his command all season long.
Conforto didn't get that. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I was looking at some numbers like Granderson near the bottom of the order. He's only 7 for 34 against Julio, but he's walked 8 times. And there are other similar numbers where they've been on base a lot against him.
Sharply hit into the shift. Dansby, nice pick. And he takes care of Conforto. That ball hit right on the button, and Dansby handles the hot 1-hop rocket.
Nice play. Perfectly positioned.
Good start. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera, the Mets shortstop. A couple of days ago, Cabrera hit a home run, went 3 for 5 against the Rangers. And that homer was his first home run since May 2nd here in Atlanta against the Braves. And that's outside. Cabrera, a free agent to be. Mets have an option on his services for next year with a $2 million buyout. Mets have a lot of guys hurt and a lot of guys that can walk at the end of this season. It'll be a very interesting team to follow at the deadline and this offseason as Cabrera rolls out softly. 2 up, 2 down. Braves have picked up the pace with the leather. No errors in the last 51 2/3 innings, and just 1 error, Joe, since that debacle we saw in Anaheim.
Boy, and they needed to turn it around after that, for sure. After 6 errors in 2 games in Anaheim. So good work by the whole ball club since then.
So here's Jay Bruce riding a 5-game hitting streak with 3 homers. Jay has 15 home runs for the season, and were it not for the rain out here in Atlanta, he'd have another. Remember, he hit one off Jaime Garcia that put him in front, but then the skies opened up and the game was washed out. popped up. Danny Santana, long run, gives a look, but won't have a play. That'll bounce into the crowd.
You'll hear us talk a lot about the Mets and their home runs. That's central to their offense. Provides a predominant number of their runs, but they've hit a home run, at least one home run, in each of their last 11 games on the road, and 27 overall in their last 16 games.
That's great when you're getting them.
Yeah.
But when you're not, the Mets really have some trouble scoring runs.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. On a pace to set all kinds of records.
Bruce fouled it away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. New York got Jay Bruce at the deadline last year from Cincinnati. He did not have much luck offensively. It has been a new year for him. Already 40 RBIs. And he rips that one into the Braves dugout, and that might have gotten a piece of Eddie Perez.
No, they moved quicker than I've ever seen him. Off the screen.
Oh, it was the ricochet that almost got him.
Ed Mangan in harm's way over there too on the ricochet.
One ball, 2 strikes. Base is empty. Shift on for Bruce. And Julio struck him out. He's off to a good start. 3 up, 3 down for the Braves right-hander. Matt Harvey to work for New York. Box. Jay Bruce almost picked him off in the first inning. And poor Eddie, right place, wrong time, walked down the dugout bench, and Tyler Flowers was just wearing him out. Look at him. Oh. So it's Matt Harvey's turn to pitch, and Matt Harvey, shall we say, his last 7 starts has been hit very hard.
It's pretty ugly for him over those 7 starts too, in terms of what teams are doing to him. His last start against Pittsburgh, 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 walks, 6 runs allowed. He's still striking out some guys, but 32 walks in 61 innings. Pretty ugly.
And he'll face red-hot Ender Inciarte to start the game for the Braves. And to put it in perspective for Harvey, since May 27th, Matt Harvey's ERA has gone from 2.84 to 5.43.
It's already his 4th start against the Braves this year. 16 innings, 16 hits, more walks than strikeouts, 8-7. He's 1-2.
He's jumped ahead of Inciarte. 2 quick strikes. And Ender was all over that. Fouled it straight back.
Still throws hard, as you see there. 96 miles an hour. That's about the top end for him. Slider, curve, change. First round pick in 2010 out of North Carolina.
Grounded towards second. TJ Rivera's got it. And Ender's retired for the first out. Mets are averaging, Braves I should say, are averaging 4.6 runs per game at home. In fact, the Braves in the month of June have more hits than any other team in the big league. So nothing wrong with Atlanta's high octane offense right now. Brandon Phillips bats second on the Toyota starting lineup card. Markakis third, Kemp fourth, Adams fifth. Danny Santana, Dansby Swanson, and Julio Teheran the lower third in game 1 tonight. A strike to Brandon Phillips. He too is swinging a hot bat for the Braves, and Harvey starts him with an off-speed pitch. Phillips at 301 for the year, 3 homers.
Good slider there.
In Harvey's last start against the Braves, he gave up 6 runs in 6 innings. And if memory serves, he was pulling that slider to the left-hand batter's box almost the whole game. He never could find a rhythm. And he pulled that pitch outside.
The only thing that's really saved him, I mean, he's got a winning record, 4-3, but he's getting 6 runs a game of support. That's saving his bacon.
2 balls, 2 strikes. So make him work. And Brandon's doing just that. Harvey might pitch himself into trouble here with Nick Markakis waiting next. Scoreless game just underway, first inning. To third and picked cleanly. Wilmer Flores with the throw. And Brandon Phillips is retired. 2 up, 2 down for Harvey. As Joe said, the Mets have had their share of problems defensively. Asdrubal Cabrera really struggles with his range. TJ Rivera is playing second base because Neil Walker's knees are balky. You've got Wilmer Flores, who doesn't have great foot speed, playing third. No David Wright. He's still hurt. Granderson's up there in years, forced to play center field.
That's it. Very little range. They are pretty good at catching what they can get to, but very limited.
So yeah, just 34 errors officially for the Mets this year. But I'm sure it's the number of balls that they just can't glove that have added to their pitching staff's problems. Nick Markakis having a good homestand. He hit safely in all 4 games against the Phillies. Had 6 hits in total. Not only that, Nick drove in 8 runs. Foul back, and Markakis at 2-1 count now. One of the many things you love about Nick, Joe, as you know, you could hit him 10th in a major league lineup and he'd still hit 300 for you. I mean, he's batted just about every place. Hitting third in the absence of Freddie Freeman for Atlanta. He's driven in a ton of big runs, and there was a close pitch that went his way. 3-1.
That's what opposing broadcasters say to us all the time about Nick. So every time we see him, we just write in 290 to 310 because it's automatic in his batting average.
In the air to center, and Granderson can't get there. Markakis has a 2-out hit. So it's a 5-game streak for Nick. Who's 46 hits away from 2,000 now.
Fastball got in on him a little bit. But solid enough contact to dump it into center.
And that'll bring up Matt Kemp. Matt has 10 homers. 2 of them have come against the Mets. And Kemp with 3 lifetime hits against Matt Harvey. Every single one of them has left the park. Didn't get that. Strike 1.
That's his career average. He's hitting .371 against them this year. Starting him off with off-speed stuff.
April 6th, Matt Kemp had a 2-homer day. Braves only had 6 hits against Matt Harvey, and Atlanta fell 6-2 up at Citi Field. Weather was about 40 degrees cooler than it is tonight. 0-2. And when Harvey's missing in this inning, it doesn't appear like he's missing by an awful lot. He's pulled a few pitches off the plate.
He's had a look or two at Mark Rippinger.
Now the 1-2 pitch. And he just struck out Matt Kemp. So Harvey and Tehran each have a first inning strikeout. And we go to the second inning, no score. For Father's Day, well, a 4-game plan is available, and you can get all the games you'll want to go to here at SunTrust Park. Bring him to all 4 post-game concerts, grab all 4 remaining bobbleheads, or pick his favorite matchups over the final 4 months of the regular season. Go to Braves.com/4game and get your Father's Day gifts today. That would make a great gift just about any day.
That guy's got a lot of work to do.
You know, we haven't tried that sandwich, I don't think. That might be something we might have to put on the beg list for our friends at Delaware North before the night's out. Man, that looks good. Julio looks good. 3 up, 3 down for him in the first inning. Wilmer Flores greets him in the second.
Guy has the highest batting average in the National League since May 1st. 375.
I would not have guessed that.
Trying to get him to chase some sliders too. Good fastball hitter.
to second. Brandon Phillips had his man played perfectly. And another ground ball out for Julio Teheran. This is very encouraging. 3 groundouts and a strikeout for Julio in SunTrust Park.
Keeping the ball down, what you got to do here. 3 guys in front of him on this homestand, all pitched into the 7th inning or better, with only 2 walks between them. Garcia, Fultonevich, and Dickey. 2 walks in those 3 starts. That's outstanding.
A strike to Lucas Duda. He was on the disabled list April 20th through May 11th with a hyperextended left elbow. He was activated on May 12th. Last year, all kinds of back problems. But as you said a moment ago, he is as hot can be.
6-15 over those 15 games.
Line into center. Ender is there. 2 outs. And T.J. Rivera is coming up. Rivera, as we were talking earlier, starts this part of the Mets lineup that right now isn't hitting very well. At least the numbers aren't too exciting. Rivera 3 for his last 24. That's dropped his batting average down to 260. And as far as things are going for the Mets middle infielders, he's the best option right now. As I said, Jose Reyes 0 for his last 21. And Neil Walker has had some knee problems. So T.J. Rivera gets the start at second. And couldn't stop his swing and is quickly down 0-2.
And Walker's only played in 1 game on this road trip so far.
Rivera, a great story. Went to high school in the Bronx. Played college ball at Wallace Community College and then Troy. Mackey Sasser, the former Met. And T.J. Rivera. This kid had a terrific college career and was undrafted. Nobody picked him. The Mets then scooped him up, signed him as an undrafted player. He had over 300 in his first 5 years. He was left unprotected in the Rule 5 draft. Nobody took him. And then last year won the PCL batting title at Vegas and now is a major league player in New York.
Gotta like that kind of success story.
Right back to the mound, and Julio is off to an excellent start. 6 up and 6 down. Matt Adams goes to work for Atlanta in a scoreless game.
Is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by Delta Airlines.
No score after an inning and a half at SunTrust Park. The Braves are up against Matt Harvey for the second time. It'll be Adams, Suzuki, and Danny Santana coming up. Matt Adams riding a 6-game hitting streak. He's hit 4 homers in that stretch. And Harvey just missed. 1 ball, no strikes. Harvey, of course, coming back from the rib removal surgery, the thoracic outlet syndrome it's called. Went to the DL with that problem when he started feeling tingling in his hands. He said he actually couldn't feel the ball leaving his fingertips. How uncomfortable that must be as a major league pitcher. Still trying to work his way back from that as he missed up and away. 3 balls and a strike. He still does not have real good command. As Joe mentioned, all those walks for Harvey, 32 of them in 61 1/3 innings coming in. And
Very carefully pitching to Matt.
Yep.
Only 1 pitch inside, and he actually got a call strike on that one that Adams didn't like. But he didn't want to have Matt lift one into the chop house.
So we'll see if Harvey's lineup card management backfires with Kurt Suzuki up there. Kurt at 235, 3 homers, 16 RBIs. Last night we wondered how the R.A. Dickey, Tyler Flowers battery would be for the Braves, and I think everybody concerned was thrilled with the way Tyler caught R.A.'s game.
Yeah, I thought he did a nice job.
Dickey had his best start in rotation with Atlanta. 1 run over 7 innings and 8 strikeouts. Most importantly for Dickey, no walks, which had been a problem for him. So who knows, maybe we'll see Tyler Flowers catch R.A. Dickey for a bit. Tonight it's Kurt Suzuki's turn to play. Popped up. Duda will give chase. Not much foul ground here at SunTrust.
As you know, Kurt doesn't get consistent playing time that you would associate with an everyday player. So he's got to try and get his hits when he gets his opportunity. 0 for his last 10, but he's had good numbers against the Mets this year. 4 for 10 and a big home run in New York that helped win a ball game.
Popped up. This one will stay in play. Rivera at second. Scoots to his left, makes the play for the first out. And here's Danny Santana. Boy, Santana's coming on like a house of fire, isn't he? 9 RBIs, 7 of them in his last 6 games played.
Thing you gotta like about Santana, he only has 9 hits with the Braves. 8 of them are for extra bases, including those 2 homers. Oh, excuse me, 1 of those homers was with Minnesota.
So Harvey back to work with a man aboard, 1 out. And in for a strike. First final of the day is in. The Rockies beat the Cubs 5-3. Colorado at Wrigley Field today. The Rockies are for real. Line into center field. That ball was smoked. So Santana has his second single with the Braves. Yes, Danny, that's Eddie Perez. They don't get to talk too often because he's usually rounding first and heading for second or third. But the Braves have a second inning threat, 2 aboard.
Boy, Fastball, too, that he jumped on out away from him.
Well, maybe a different Dansby Swanson for Atlanta tonight than what the Mets have seen earlier this year. Dansby's average is quickly climbing. He has 9 hits in his last 24 at bats. And even more impressively, 6 in his last 12 over the last 4 games. And Harvey threw that one all the way to the backstop. There's that pitch he's pulling to the left-hand batter's box. And even the ones that don't go to the screen, there have been a lot of pitches that haven't been all that close to the plate here.
Exactly right, Chip, and a good call from what you remembered in that one start against Atlanta where he just couldn't get that pitch to the plate.
So now the luxury for Dansby is if he makes an out, the Braves could still take the lead. See what he does with a 1-0 count.
Be selective, get a good pitch to hit.
Didn't get the corner. Dansby is being selective. Harvey has the pitcher Julio Teheran next.
With a base open, that was a very good pitch from Harvey. That was a borderline strike and didn't get an offer from Dansby. Green light?
Why not?
I say yes.
It was kind of a yellow light, and he sort of hit the accelerator to get through the intersection before the red light camera hit, but it still cost him a strike. He'll be revving the engine here if it's close. 3 balls and a strike. 2 on, 1 out, second inning. And ball 4. So Harvey getting a little frustrated. That's his second walk. I think you were right. One of them was by design. That was the sequence to Adams. And maybe this one too with the pitcher coming up. But now there's no place to put Julio Teheran.
Julio's got a couple of hits this year. 2 for 19. Excellent bunter. 5 sacrifices if you want to go that way. He has 1 sacrifice fly to account for his RBI.
Harvey continues out of the stretch with the bases loaded. And a breaking ball is bounced into the Mets dugout. Foul, strike 1.
That doesn't happen very often. That was some respect for Julio to start him with a first pitch breaking ball.
And another one. Obviously, you'd love to see Julio drive in a run. What you don't want is a double play here. Harvey's got him way behind. 0-2. Little tapper. There's going to be a play at the plate. It's going to be in time. Adams didn't slide, and he's out on a bang-bang force play at the plate. Heads up play by Wilmer Flores to come home. I thought he was going to throw across to first base, but the Mets get the out.
Heads up indeed. What a big play there by Flores. Maybe because he saw Flores have to go to his left to field that, Adams didn't think he would come home. No challenge. He appeared to be out, but a big play by Wilmer Flores to save a run early.
So Adams is forced to the plate. Santana to third. Swanson to second. Julio at first. A long inning continues for Harvey, and now he has to tangle with Inciarte. Ender bounced out to second to start the Braves' offensive night. And you figure he's going to put the ball in play. He's riding a very impressive no strikeout streak. Last 45 plate appearances without a swing and a miss for the third out, or the swing and a miss for the third strike, I beg your pardon. And he's ahead in the count here. And I can't believe where Granderson and Conforto are playing into Inciarte. Look how shallow they are. And look at all the room between Granderson and Jay Bruce.
Yeah, they're in for a rude awakening. Ender's ability to shoot the ball to left center field, and certainly can pull the ball.
Wishes he had that one back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two walks and a hit, loaded the bases. Great play by Wilmer Flores to force Matt Adams at the plate for out number 2. Now Ender and the Braves down to their last 2nd inning strike.
That was not at all where Darno wanted that pitch. So again, a missed spot, and he got away with it. Wanted to waste one away, and instead it was down the middle.
So Harvey got a break. Ender fouled that pitch away, but he's forced to make another one here. A ball and 2 strikes. Well hit, but foul.
With the way the outfield's positioned and the way Harvey's working right now, you would almost assume they're saying let's pitch him away and play him away and challenge him to try to hit the ball over our head.
Harvey's about to make his 24th pitch in the inning. Two balls, 2 strikes. Now he's run it full.
It's a tough pitch to take, too.
A couple of good takes in this inning. Dansby Swanson had one as well. So now Santana, Swanson, and Tehran can run with the pitch. Ender ready. Here comes the 3-2 offering from Matt Harvey. Ripped that one foul at first. You know, an inside the park grand slam wouldn't be bad.
Always a welcome sight to a sellout crowd.
So Ender knows what he's got. He's about to see the 8th pitch of the at bat. See if he can smack one to the Braves bullpen fence and run forever. Runners lead. And there they go. High fly ball hammered towards center. Granderson is there, and they had him played perfectly. A long battle with Matt Harvey. And Ender's retired, so are the Braves. Scoreless after 2.
Head into the 3rd inning. It's a beautiful night for baseball and a huge crowd here on hand at Turner Field. At SunTrust Park for Bartolo Colon bobblehead night. Now, it does look like he might have lost a little bit of weight. That's what the players were saying. The one thing that they noticed, the belly, can you see it? It's a little down there. He looks a little bit young. But all of the fans here tonight get to go home with their very own Bartolo Colon. Chip and Joe, and I got one for myself.
Well, we're happy about that. But yeah, I think Bartolo would be very happy with that image.
I would be too, quite honestly.
Yeah.
But that's a story for another time. It's amazing, the bobblehead craze, the popularity. I can't remember when baseball started giving them out. I'm guessing in the last 20 years. But go around major league parks, whenever they have a bobblehead day for a player, popular or obscure, it doesn't seem to matter. The fans seem to love him. The Braves have a great bobblehead series again in their inaugural season at SunTrust Park. Curtis Granderson leads off for the Mets and takes just outside. Tight zone, it appears, for Mark Rippinger tonight. Granderson hitting 200. 5 homers, 21 knocked in.
Goodness.
Nobody comes to see the umpires umpire. Call strikes. That's hammered towards center. Ender on the run. Still going back. It's going to carry, and it's going to go. A home run for Curtis Granderson. And the Mets jump in front on a solo home run here in the 3rd inning. It's 1-0. This is what they do.
Got a fastball down the middle, didn't miss it. He's hitting 200 for the year, and that's home run number 299 in his career. Got 2 borderline calls that didn't go Julio's way, kind of sitting on that fastball.
That was an Energizer bunny ball. It just kept going and going right near the rock pile at Chattahoochee Falls for the 1-0 New York lead. Tricky hop for Dansby to handle. Travis d'Arnaud's retired, and there's the first out.
3rd career homer for Granderson off of Tehran.
You know, he seems to just wear out the Braves. Curtis Granderson. He's only hitting .216 lifetime against Atlanta with 59 hits. But I bet the mortgage he's hit at least 10 homers in his career against Atlanta.
Yeah, a bunch of those from the leadoff spot too.
Strike one for Matt Harvey, who escaped a bases loaded jam, and now lines over Brandon Phillips' head. That's Matt Harvey's second hit of the season. He's now 2 for 25. And the lineup card flips to Michael Conforto, who grounded out his first time up.
Harvey very fortunate to get out of the jam in the bottom of the second, and now has a lead.
I would have won my bet. That homer is Curtis Granderson's 11th against the Braves. So now Julio's in a bit of a pickle. 1 in, 1 on, 1 out. And Michael Conforto with 14 homers of his own, the batter. We say it all the time, how one pitch, one sequence can change the tenor and tone of a major league game from a hitter's perspective, certainly from a pitcher's perspective. I'll bet in Julio's head he thought he had Granderson behind in the count 0-2. Didn't get those calls and felt, all right, well, I guess I got to throw one a little closer to the middle of the plate.
Sure. If you don't get those calls, when it's like, okay, well, if I'm going to get a strike, that's what I'm going to have to do, I guess.
What an advantage for the hitters. If the corners and the knees aren't called, okay. Hail and Whale. 2 balls and a strike. Dangerous pitch for Conforto coming. And fouled away. Full count. As Granderson wasn't getting on base enough, they decided to try Michael Conforto in the leadoff spot. He's done a nice job for him. #1 pick 3 years ago for New York. Pitch. Rolled foul. Michael came up in 2015, really helped the Mets. Hit 270. Last year, 109 games, hit 220. This year, hitting over 300. Out of Oregon State. Broken bat. Dansby makes the catch. Throw to first. Adams can't handle. And all he has to do is flip to Tehran. That's going to be a double play. Matt Harvey broke off the bag. The second base umpire, Phil Cuzzy, signaled catch immediately. And Harvey kept going. So even on the overthrow, the Braves are able to get the double play and get Tehran out of inning number 3.
Nice play by Dansby. And a good heads up recovery here, knowing that you need just to touch the bag for the force out.
So Granderson's home run puts the Mets in front. Home run in between innings, a very entertaining feature where a fan is called upon to try to beat the Freeze. They run from one foul pole to the other, and that young man, oh so close to glory, got snipered.
They love it was the tortoise and the hare. And the hare thought he had it won. He was already calling for some applause. Look at him. He's out of gas.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze is cool as a cucumber. That guy's needs to go try to lay down on top of the can coolers out there.
Yeah, he thought he had it won.
That was great. So Brandon Phillips goes to work. Matt Harvey with the lead. And again, Matt is walking a lot of guys. See if Atlanta can make him work again. He had a long second inning and just had to run the bases for a while. And he's got Phillips, Markakis, and Matt Kemp coming up for a second time. Matt Harvey got to the big leagues for New York in 2012. Went 3-5 at 2.73 ERA. 2013 9-5 2.27 ERA. 26 starts, 191 strikeouts. Chopper towards short. Cabrera charges, throws on the run, and just did get Brandon Phillips.
Cabrera was fortunate to get a good hop there on a make or break play.
Harvey didn't pitch in 2014 because of Tommy John surgery. Came back with a vengeance in 2015. Went 13-8 with a 2.71 ERA, and everybody was just thrilled. DeGrom, Syndergaard, Harvey. Matz was coming on. 2016, the disastrous season. 17 starts, 10 losses. Surgery. And then this year, Harvey had to pitch against the Braves when Noah Syndergaard was a late scratch. Harvey said he had engaged in a heavy weightlifting session the day before and wasn't really prepared to pitch against Atlanta, and it showed. Braves beat him up pretty good. And then about a week later, Matt Harvey was out the night before. Didn't show up to the ballpark in time for the Mets game, and Terry Collins and the Mets said enough's enough. They suspended him for 3 games. Harvey apologized to the fans, the team, the organization, his teammates, and since has been a model citizen. But as we showed you, the numbers have not been very good for Matt Harvey since a couple of those incidents this year. That's the real vexing problem for New York. This is a team that was built with overwhelming starting pitching in mind.
He has done real well in postseason play for the Mets. He has won games in the division series and in the NLCS. Made 2 starts in the World Series, got no decisions, but pitched well. If the Mets fall out of this thing, there might be some teams want to know if he's available. And despite all of that other nonsense that he brought on himself.
Well, and that's probably true. I mean, how much of New York is too much for Matt Harvey? I think is a fair question to ask. And no one's going to complain about what you do away from the ballpark as long as you're dominating from the mound. And Harvey hasn't been doing that. He just made a good play here, however, for Nick Markakis, who's the second out of the inning. Steven Matz was hurt. Seth Lugo was hurt. Both of those guys are expected to pitch in this series. You know all about Noah Syndergaard and the torn lat muscle. Jacob DeGrom has had a rough time of it the last couple of starts. And again, Mets hit home runs and they're supposed to just shut you down from the mound in starting rotation. It hasn't happened. 1 strike. Matt Kemp had a great month of May. 41 hits.
His average coming in tonight, 325 overall, and that included that 0 for 12 that he had to fight through. Everybody's going to go through a few of those, though, through the course of the season.
Up the middle, and that's going to sneak through for a hit.
Harvey more or less let that go, assuming that the infielders were in a position to catch the slow grounder, and when he saw them kind of split away from the bag, he was very frustrated. He would have reacted a lot quicker. A little top spin helped that one get through. Especially Cabrera, you can see how far he was from the middle of the diamond.
Harvey walked Adams, who led off the second inning and was forced out at the plate on a terrific instinctive play by Wilmer Flores, who threw a strike to Darno to beat Matt by a quarter step at the plate. 1-0 pitch.
He's been so off with that slider to that side. Maybe he'll make a mistake in there that's up a little bit.
Two balls and a strike. TJ Rivera's backed up at second base. He's about 15 feet on the outfield grass at second base. Now Matt Harvey has fallen way behind, 3-1.
Yeah, if you're Matt Adams, you want something middle in.
To right field, and Bruce is there. That ball was smacked. Adams hit that one right on the button, but nothing to show for it. Harvey protects a 1-0 lead. Is the only run so far after 3 innings. And speaking of homers, let's talk about that on tonight's Cold Hard Facts. They're brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light.
Per 9 innings. Harvey and Teheran right in there at 1.9 each. Bronson Arroyo, we saw him in Cincinnati. We understand how that can happen in that ballpark. Leading the way.
So Julio starts the 4th inning. Cabrera, Bruce, and Wilmer Flores are coming up. There's been a lot of talk in the New York papers the last few weeks about a youngster who's starring for them down at AAA Las Vegas. A young shortstop by the name of Ahmed Rosario. Terrific athletic player, the #1 rated Mets prospect. All he's doing is hitting .340 with 6 homers, 43 RBIs at AAA. That .340 batting average, by the way, good for 16th in the Pacific Coast League.
Well, that's kind of the way it goes in that league. Trust me. All the reports are, though, from their people that he's not quite ready.
A little roller toward first. Adams will flip to Tehran. Cabrera is retired for out #1.
So they're evaluating all aspects of his game and not ready to bring him up yet.
Well, as I said earlier, I think the Mets team is going to be an interesting one to follow at the deadline. They have some marketable players if they decide to move them. They also have a lot of pending free agents. I just did a quick rundown of their roster. I mean, they're going to have $60-something million of payroll coming off the books at the end of this season. And with the big free agency classes that are coming up in the next couple of years, as Jay Bruce smokes this one to right field, that's going to bounce off the right field wall. He's going to turn and head for second. The throw is going to be late, and Jay Bruce slides into second with a 1-out double. He's one of those pending free agents. They can get their starting pitching straightened out and get some youth and athleticism. I think the Mets are going to be right back at the top of the division pretty quickly.
Yeah, but that's the most disappointing part about this season. That looked like a fastball, and almost like he tried to make a cutter out of that. But Bruce got the barrel to it. That's what's disappointing, is how their starting pitching is just non-existent in terms of the personnel they expected to have out there. They thought they would have a lineup that would compete, where they didn't have to score many runs.
Well, then Cespedes got hurt against the Braves, and he's such a hugely important cog in their offense. Pulled his hamstring up in New York, and we're told that Cespedes might be back as soon as tomorrow. So that'll be a big lift for the Mets. Well, you can hit all the home runs you want, but if you can't stop the other guys from hitting them too, that's a problem.
And they don't have the personnel to do that. Not healthy anyway.
Swing and miss.
One little puffy cloud up there tonight. Enjoying the ball game.
1-2 for Wilmer Flores, and that's high. 2-2.
He's had a good fastball tonight, velocity wise. That 93 fastball there. And Flores ready to chase.
Chase that one. Flores did. He's retired on strikes. And Julio has strikeout #2. We've seen Julio go through stretches where he sometimes get away from his fastball, and maybe that's by design. But it seems when he gets off track a little bit and comes back and starts being aggressive with that pitch, he looks like a different, much more effective guy.
What sets up everything else. And he can throw the two-seamer too and make it sink and dart away from left-handers.
He's got a lefty up there now, and Lucas Duda. That's straightened up on the inside corner. Strike one. I know we've said this a lot. This guy is Brian McCann's brother from another mother. I mean, he looks just like him. Suzuki wants to talk things over with Julio.
Remember, I talked about places to go is one of his keys. Dude is one of the hot hitters. We've already talked about 6 homers his last 13 games. The guy on deck is filling in tonight at second base, Rivera. With all due respect to him, he's not the threat right now that Duda is. That may have been a reminder from Kurt.
Lucas fouled it back. No balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that was not what he wanted to do, but he got away with it. Now he's 0-2.
That was where he went for strike 1. Lucas Duda, 118 career homers. That's tied for 10th on the all-time Mets list. He's tied with Ed Kranepool. Edgardo Alfonso's 9th all-time with 120 long balls as a Met.
That surprises me. Didn't know he hit that many. Good hitter, though. Don't give in here. Make him swing at your pitch.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
You walk him, you walk him.
So the full count coming for Lucas Duda. And he takes ball 4. Suzuki out for another chat. Braves are playing the odds here. Duda, much more powerfully built hitter than TJ Rivera, who will stand in with 2 on and 2 out.
Rivera's more of a contact hitter. Has 1 homer on the year, and as you said, a high average last year at Las Vegas. But who's hot, who's not?
Swing and a miss. Rivera won the batting title with Vegas last year. Hit .353 in 105 games. Julio ready. Here it comes. Ground ball towards short. Dansby's got it. He'll fire to Phillips at second. And that will end the inning. Phillips stepped on the bag not once but twice just to make sure. Nothing doing in the New York 4th. It's 1-0 Mets.
0-0 as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Welcome back to our set here in the Battery Atlanta for this Xfinity game break. I'm Rebecca Capel. Well, the Marlins will be in town next weekend. Tonight they're in Pittsburgh, and look at Giancarlo Stanton unleash this one. It is a monster shot over the batter's eye in center field at PNC Park, an estimated 449 feet. Right now the Marlins lead the Pirates 7-4 in the bottom of the fourth. Chip and
Wow. That's even a conservative estimate.
I saw Sammy Sosa hit a ball a third of the way up the flagpole in left center back in the day with the Chicago Cubs. I think Stanton's ball went a lot farther than that.
Goodness.
They shortchanged him on that shot. So great update, Rebecca. Thank you. As Kurt Suzuki leads off the Braves fourth, as Rebecca mentioned, it's 1-0 New York on a Curtis Granderson homer. The Marlins series will be a lot of fun for us. Jeff Francoeur will be joining us in the booth. Be an easy series. The Fish are playing a lot better baseball.
Boy, are they ever, and scoring a ton of runs.
They're doing it without Justin Bour, who's out with a sore ankle. They scored 7 runs yesterday and beat the Pirates. Tonight they're teeing off on Tyler Glasnow. Yesterday Miami beat Garrett Cole. So keep an eye on the Fish. They try to get their rotation back together. Both Tom Kohler and Justin Nicolino are either making or about to make rehab starts, and they could be back soon. Two-on pitch, and now 3-1.
And they sent that left-hander back to AAA that we both like, whose name escapes me at the moment. Oh, we got 5 innings or so.
They had a left-hander? Full count. Let me ask you about Harvey from a hitter's perspective. You see the numbers. You know what he's been doing of late. You know he's got the big fastball. Can you afford to wait this guy out?
Well, I think you can eliminate that slider and try to lay off of it if you're a right-handed hitter. Kurt was late on a fastball early in the count. Should get another one here. That's one of the things that impressed me the most about Kurt early in the year, really throughout the year, has been his ability with his starts, whenever they come along, to still be on time with the fastball and be able to hammer it. Not easy to do.
Full count pitch. Fly ball center field. Granderson retreats, but he's going to have room. And there's out number 1. See Granderson pointing up to the sky. Tough time of night in the twilight hours, but much more light for the outfielders at SunTrust Park as compared to Turner Field. Have the beautifully aesthetically pleasing light towers in the outfield. 2 of them frame the out-of-town Delta scoreboard. 2 of them just beyond the chop house in right center. A bunt try for Santana. Harvey flips and throws the ball right in the middle of Danny's backside. Thank you very much. That'll be a bunt single.
Nice hustle by Mark Rippinger, the home plate umpire, to watch that play in case Santana got hit with the throw. He did, but he was in the running lane. Base hit. Dragging it with him. Oh my. Oh my.
And it wasn't his backside. It hit him right between the 2 and the 3.
Well, look how far he is inside the lane. He's in fair territory. Wow.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's good hustle.
Well, Danny's obviously slumping. His last 2 hits are only singles. And that one barely got to the first cut out of the runner's lane. He represents the tying run. Foul away, strike 1 for the Braves shortstop. thing I love about Dansby Swanson is for a young player, he is very steady. When the highs are high, you don't know he's going well. When the lows are low, you don't know he's having problems.
Very resilient. He's let a lot of rough times kind of wash over him and keep plugging.
Runner goes, and Dansby tried to check his swing and couldn't. Looked like Santana would have had that one stolen easy.
Great jump. Kind of a walking lead for Danny. He had it. Darno has had his troubles throwing in the past. 2 out of 12 this year throwing out base stealers. Rene Rivera, their other catcher, very good at throwing out base stealers.
No balls, 2 strikes, 1-0 New York. Another check swing. This one off the screen by the Braves dugout. We'll do it again. Dansby was 1 for 2 against the Phillies yesterday. 2 games ago had 3 hits, scored 3 times, hit a 3-run homer. There's that pitch to the right-hand hitter. Just missed. Well, the hitters and pitchers ought to know by now that it's a very narrow strike zone. Harvey's ready again. The pitch. And the ball's trying to fight Eddie Perez tonight, isn't it? Dansby almost got him. Jay Bruce almost got him when Eddie was in the Braves dugout. Another 1-ball, 2-strike pitch. And that one's cued. Dansby takes off wisely. And some funny spin to it, but it stays foul. And we'll try again. 1-ball, 2 strikes.
He throws a changeup, and he's thrown it a few times tonight. I think he used it against Matt Kemp, his first at bat. Here's another one. Disguised it well at the middle of the plate. Looked like a fastball. Very slow getting there. 84, 85 miles an hour.
Runner goes. Dansby grounds toward Cabrera at short. That'll keep the Braves out of a double play. And Swanson's retired. 2 outs at the very least. The Braves clear the pitcher.
Yeah, it's too bad that Cabrera wasn't covering with the runner moving.
Well, Braves assistant athletic trainer Jim Lovell is a huge Auburn Tiger fan. And Jim asked us to send along friends or best wishes to one of his friends, Frank Cox, the retired equipment manager for the Auburn Tigers. Mr. Cox has been having a tough time of late and wanted him to know that Lovey and the Braves were thinking about him. Frank Cox, a huge Braves fan and a lifelong friend of Jim Lovell. So Mr. Cox, hope we see you at SunTrust Park real soon.
Absolutely. I believe that kid that did the nosedive out there on the warning track in that race, Lovey may need to tend to him too. I think he was a war eagle. So I think that's what they announced.
No balls at a strike.
Adam Conley was the guy I was trying to
That's
think
it.
of. Chris looked it up for me. Conley's the lefty that the Marlins sent back to AAA.
I'll say this about Matt Harvey tonight. I don't think we would say his stuff has been electric. He's thrown a ton of pitches. He seldom pitches past 6 innings. But as wild as he has been, he's been effectively wild. He's got the Braves shut out on 4 hits and got out of a bases loaded mess in the second. And that has not been called a strike all night.
It hasn't. Something else he's done. He came into the game over the last 32 opportunities with runners in scoring position. He only gave up 2 hits. So he was able to get out of that bases loaded jam tonight. And he's got a runner at second right now. Granted, a couple of the at-bats have been to the pitcher.
Got the call that time, and no argument from Julio Teheran. He wants that call when he goes to work in the 5th inning. Matt Harvey 4 shutout innings in game 1. So far in tonight's ball game is Curtis Granderson. He's our yellow and brand bringing the lumber feature.
He got a good count in his favor, 2-0, and then he got a fastball about belt high and dropped it right out there by the Braves bullpen. 1-0.
His 11th career homer against the Braves. Granderson's hit 299.
I was just watching him shake hands there at third base with the third base coach, Glenn Sherlock. Cardinals made a few moves today, and they weren't all ball players, were they?
Yeah, you know, the Cardinals may be one of the most disappointing teams in the big leagues this year. They're 4.5 games out of first place. They just wrapped up a 7-game road trip. Saw them lose all the games. They had 2 or 3 run leads in 5 of the first 6 of those games, and obviously blew the advantages. Today they designated Johnny Peralta for assignment. But their third base coach, Chris Maloney, was reassigned, and assistant hitting coach Bill Miller has taken a leave of absence for St. Louis. So when things are going south, somebody, I guess, has to take the fall, and those were the first dominoes to fall in St. Louis this year.
What a shame.
3 balls, no strikes from Tehran to Granderson, the 7th place hitter. Took a strike. I mean, the Cardinals team has impressive pitching with Waka, with Leake. Adam Wainwright's coming on, although Adam had a rough start against the Reds. One of the few bad ones he's had in the last month or so. A lot of folks said, well, they needed to get a bat in the offseason. Well, what the Cardinals did was they shedded a bat. They had Matt Adams on their roster. Couldn't find a place for him to play because, Joe, they're committed to playing Matt Carpenter at first base. Well, they've had Peralta playing third. They've had Jerko playing third. Why not put Carpenter at third base, which is his position, or second base? Keep Matt Adams. There's your bat.
They weren't going to let Matt Adams play.
I don't get it.
Maybe that's where the change should have been made. And whoever's making those decisions. No one that we've run into can believe the Braves were able to acquire Matt Adams the way they did.
And when they did, I mean, the Braves were in a real position of weakness, having lost Freddie Freeman. And after Freddie went down, the next game, the club, as you would understand, was just playing, I think, in a daze, almost like, well, what do we do now?
It's just that I hate teams making coaches or an assistant hitting coach scapegoats. I hate that. I think that's absolutely brutal. Same thing happened to Brian Snitker.
Swing and a miss by d'Arnaud.
When he was reassigned to be the AAA manager for the Braves. An absolute scapegoat, and it was horrible and embarrassing.
No balls, 2 strikes for the Mets catcher d'Arnaud, who grounded out to short his first time up.
Boy, now that was a strike to Julio, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm sure that's what he's thinking. Like I said, I'm not angry at Mark Ripperger by any stretch of the imagination, but that's a pro call. That's a strike. It's a strike if the Brave hitter has that pitch.
Yeah, it's where it crosses the plate, not where Kurt Suzuki caught it.
No need to get on the soapbox too long, but I firmly believe if baseball wants to solve their pace of play problem, call more strikes and call the rule book strike. You don't have to worry about pitch clocks or any of that other silliness. One and 2. Stroke towards center. Ender on the run. Still going. Reaches up at the last second to haul it in.
That's a proverbial rope hit right at you, where at first you're not sure if it's hit over your head or in front of you. You can see that he had a little bit of a delayed start on that one, and why he had to really extend to get it. And that's 100% from just, it's a really tough ball to read off the bat. Nice recovery.
I would love to know where Ender Inciarte's route efficiency ranks among major league outfielders. Runner goes with Harvey up there, swing and a miss. Suzuki's throw is off the mark, and Dansby Swanson got a glove on it. He had the second base umpire Phil Cuzzy to deal with too. Cuzzy was on the third base side of the bag, and that throw went between Cuzzy and the bag. So a lot going on for Dansby to try to handle on that play.
Good pitch to throw on. Dansby didn't even, as he went over to tag, wasn't even sure that he hadn't caught the ball.
But to finish my point about Ender, you almost never see him take a bad route or get a bad jump. Great closing speed to take care of d'Arnaud here in the 5th inning. As Harvey hits down a strike, he's got a base hit already. He served one to right field. The This one's fouled off the umpire. No balls, 2 strikes.
Nice to get a strikeout right here, the pitcher. Outfield really shallow for him.
And a shallow right. Markakis is there. So moving in a step or 2 helped out Nick Markakis. Harvey's retired. 2 outs for Conforto, who lined into a double play to end the 3rd inning. Braves will have their 1, 2, 3 hitters coming up in the 5th inning. And they'll face Matt Harvey for a 3rd time. So far, the Braves have yet to score. They have 4 hits. As the Mets figure out what to do with Curtis Granderson, what to do with Jay Bruce, they know they've got this guy who can play all 3 outfield positions if need be. Fordo drives this one to right field. Pretty well hit, but it's going to be in play for Markakis, who grabs it on the warning track. Julio pitches around a leadoff walk. He's got the top of his order coming up, and a good ball game. 1-0. New York has the lead. Let's see what Ender Inciarte, Brandon Phillips, and Nick Markakis can do for the Braves next. Atlanta Braves for the 2017 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Vote at Braves.com/vote. Catch all of the excitement of the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 11th live on Fox. All-Star Game is in Miami this year. Lined by Ender, and a nice catch on a sinking liner by the ball boy in right. Ender Inciarte has had a great year. He's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
Moved up to 11th in batting average. Tied for 8th in runs, which is so important to him. The thing I guess that's been impressive about what Harvey's done so far, granted he left the bases loaded in the 2nd inning, but coming into this game in the month of June, the Braves had more hits and more doubles than anybody in baseball.
1 pitch. I don't want to use the term effectively wild, but maybe that's the way to describe it. I mean, Harvey has walked 2 guys. They came in the 2nd inning. And he's been pitching behind the count a lot.
His best pitches have been his 95 heater and his changeup. And you're right about the wildness. 7 3-ball counts. But if walks are the problem, he issued 2 in the 2nd inning and pitched around him.
He's climbing up toward 90 pitches. He's not yet have an out in the 5th. Line toward left. Conforto drifts back a step, makes the play. There's that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Ender was late on it and is retired. 1 down. Another thing that has troubled the Mets with the loss of Syndergaard, with DeGrom having 2 poor starts in a row, Wheeler making his way back from Tommy John, Matz is out, Lugo's out, Harvey's had his problems. That's overexposed their bullpen, a bullpen that's missing Juris Familia and blood clot surgery. And here's Harvey now over 90 pitches. He's not going to pitch much past the 5th inning tonight. They can't get to the Mets starter. Maybe the New York bullpen will give it up tonight.
Well, tonight, different than the previous several starts in terms of walks. 19 walks in 26 innings coming into this start.
Base runners all over the place for Harvey. So to this point, tip your cap. He's pitching a good game with the slimmest of leads. A 1-0 advantage thanks to a Curtis Granderson 3rd inning homer. Nope, no swing. Fought that off. Big news in the Braves minor league system tonight. Chris Medlin was promoted to AAA and pitching for Gwinnett tonight. 5 2/3 innings of 3-run ball. Medlin struck out 6 and threw 99 pitches. Trailing in the game 3-0, but more importantly for Chris and the Braves, we need to see how he feels after the game and again tomorrow.
Sure.
Good at bat by Brandon Phillips. fan from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, caught that ball on fireworks Friday night at SunTrust.
And got a bobblehead. Bobblehead in a baseball. What a night.
Since I mentioned Auburn earlier in the game for Jim Lovell, I wanted to make sure that the whole state of Alabama wasn't behind it.
I see.
Even that out a little bit. So. Now the 2-2. Little nubber. Harvey, long way to go. Bare hands, fires, and got his man. What a play by Matt Harvey.
Slipped a little bit on the grass, too, but he did a good thing there. Going to the bare hand to pick that up. It's amazing that he made an accurate throw after his left foot really got out from under him.
Two up, two down for Atlanta in the fifth. Nick Markakis, the batter. Nick had the first Atlanta hit. Just took a strike. 19 games for Markakis, batting third for the Braves this year. He's knocked in 11 runs in those 18 games. He's hit for a higher average, batting fifth. But his RBI per game rate is a little lower. 15 RBIs in 29 games, batting behind Matt Kemp. That's out of play foul. Stride, but he's still got good wood on it. Popped it away. Season high for Harvey is 108 pitches. That was back in April. He faced the Nationals.
All those 3-ball counts tonight have added up. Over 100 pitches in 5 innings.
After that start, Harvey's ERA was 2.84. Entered play tonight at 5.43. So in the span of 7 starts, Harvey added 2.5 earned runs per game. It's going in the right direction tonight. He's got the Braves shut out. Swing and a miss. Something Harvey doesn't do a lot of. But he retires Atlanta in order in the 5th inning and leads 1-0.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer and the Georgia Lottery.
Time for the 6th inning already. 1-0. Matt Harvey leads thanks to a Curtis Granderson homer. It's Toyota Tweet of the Week time. This week's question is, where's the most unique venue you've seen a sporting event? Tweet us at Fox Sports Braves using the hashtag #CoolSportsSpot, and your tweet could be used in the Braves Live post-game show.
That's a very unique question.
I think I have my answer.
Waiting on Nick Markakis to take the field. Looked like he had something in his eye. And to get that out.
Do you have a most unique venue that you can think of off the top of your head?
First of all, Nick, he's got such a low swing and miss rate. It's like 13%. That was probably a large tear. I got clogged up in there after striking out. That's an odd question, isn't it? Most unique place you've watched a game.
Well, the shot was of SunTrust Park because this is so new for Braves fans and Major League Baseball to see the new home of this franchise.
got a great shot of the strawberry moon tonight, right through the opening under the roof. Trying to. Yes, I got one.
All right.
And it's timely.
As Asdrubal Cabrera leads off.
I saw the Edmonton Oilers with Wayne Gretzky win their first Stanley Cup in Northman's Coliseum in Edmonton, sitting in the next to last row at the top of the Coliseum. How's that?
You had the euchre seats working.
Yes, I did.
How did you? Well, first, Edmonton or any Canadian town is hockey crazy, and if their team was in the NHL Finals, how in the world did you come across tickets for the Stanley Cup winning game?
The owner of the team, Peter Pocklington, also owned our minor league team, and they postponed the game for Game 7 of the hockey.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, and gave tickets to anybody from either team that wanted to go.
Wow.
I sat right in front of the umpires that were supposed to work the game. As it should have been. They were in the top row.
I was going to say they're used to sitting behind or being behind professional players.
Right.
3-2 pitch is strike 3 called. Cabrera's rung up. He flipped the bat away and will slowly head back to the Mets dugout.
And Julio finally got a call on that side of the plate. High strike call. In the zone.
So maybe Julio's figuring something out here. If the zone's not east-west, maybe it's north-south.
Could be.
Good start. Here's Bruce, who's doubled and was left stranded by New York.
How about you?
Well, I was going to say when I was a kid, Turner Sports and Ted Turner was very willing, shall we say, to take great sport risks. And back in the 80s, this was hit into the shift and Phillips still can't get it. Ball was smoked. Bruce aboard with one out. You might recall they had the Olympic boycott take place in 1980. The Russians invaded Afghanistan, and then the Soviet bloc embargoed or boycotted the '84 Olympics. Well, Ted Turner decided he wanted to try to bring East and West together through sport, and he created what was called the Goodwill Games.
I remember.
That took place in Russia and in Moscow and Leningrad at the time. It's now St. Petersburg. And I was taking Russian language in college, and I got to go over and be a translator. Well, my dad got to go over too. My dad was doing boxing with Paul Hornung and was doing basketball and stuff. But the most unique sporting event I think I ever saw was a sport called moto ball. Imagine a team of 7 guys on a motocross motorcycle kicking a gigantic inflated soccer ball while they're riding the motorcycles. So polo without horses and motorcycles. And my dad got to do the play-by-play for the moto ball. And an infamous bit of videotape from those Goodwill Games showed Dad doing his stand-up from the moto ball arena, which was a basic high school soccer field, wearing his TBS jacket, and he had a duck umbrella in the rain in Moscow, USSR.
He was cracking up the whole time.
Oh
I'm
my
sure.
gosh. Between that and the boxing matches, what a trip, quite literally, to Moscow at the time. 2 balls and a strike for Wilmer Flores. Bruce at first. Wilmer's 0 for 2 tonight. Really proud of Julio and his fastball in this game. He's been aggressive with it.
He has been, and he's had good movement with the 2-seamer.
off the plate. Hey, I want to thank our friends at the Coors Light Chop House. They brought us some treats in between innings. Surest way to a broadcaster's heart is through his stomach. That's one of the oldest things in the broadcaster's handbook. They brought us some buffalo chicken tater kegs. First, the 3-2 pitch. It's grounded foul. So imagine a giant tater tot with chicken and buffalo seasoning and some blue cheese and chives on top.
Yeah, it is crazy good. Never seen anything like it. Never tasted anything as good as that from a tater keg standpoint. Awesome. Thank you.
So SunTrust Park getting rave reviews for a lot of things, including the amazing dining choices here. We appreciate it too. 3 balls, 2 strikes again for Flores. Here it comes, and it's hit in the air. Foul ground. Adams gives chase, but won't have a play. Great to see the ballpark full tonight. Haven't heard the official attendance. From the looks of things, it looks like we are at or very close to a sellout tonight. Not surprisingly, it's Bartolo bobblehead night.
Listen to all the people in the Chop House, Chip. It's
great.
Crammed.
Pitch number 8 for Wilmer Flores. And you'll see number 9.
Well, he's measuring that fastball. As I said earlier, he's a good fastball hitter. They're trying to tie him up with it a little bit up and in and stay out of the bell tied to the knees down and into him.
Flores ordinarily a tough guy to get the ball on the ground. He's only hitting 1 double play this year. He's getting good cuts. Terry Collins has done an amazing job with the New York Mets. He's managed more games than any other manager in the history of the Mets franchise. And this year a special challenge for him. We saw him in spring training and he really liked his team in the final days of spring 2017.
Yeah.
And they've just been bitten by injury after crippling injury. Pitch is low, and Wilmer Flores with a great at bat sends Jay Bruce to second. 2 on for Duda and only 1 out.
How did he lay off that pitch after all those fastballs? They threw him a slider that just missed and he didn't swing.
Duda's walked and lined out.
No place to put him this time. He's another one of those guys that has some damage against Julio. 7 for 25, 7 for 26 now with 2 homers, but he's walked 5 times in 26 at bats. And add that one tonight, that makes 6 walks.
Action's begun in the Braves bullpen. It's Eric O'Flaherty getting ready quickly. That's with a mind on Curtis Granderson, perhaps. 1 ball, no strikes. And now an even count.
Duda is an excellent low ball hitter, especially down and in.
Got the outside corner call that time. 1-2.
Good backdoor pitch. Now he's got a couple of different places he can go. He can even go upstairs and try to get him to chase up high.
Popped him up. Markakis has plenty of room. And a big second out as Duda skies out to shallow right. And T.J. Rivera's the hitter. Well, this is really an encouraging sign for the Braves. Julio's home mound troubles have been well documented at SunTrust Park. He entered play 1-4 with an 8.40 ERA in his new park. 31 runs in 30 innings, only 28 of them earned. Tonight he's given up 1 in 5 2/3 innings, so
much improved, huh?
Really great to see.
Crazy splits.
Rivera 3 hits in his last 26 at bats, including an 0 for 2 tonight. Bounce that ball off his foot, foul, strike 1. Got a doubleheader here tomorrow. 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Game times. Robert Gesellman and Steven Matz are supposed to pitch in that order for the Mets. The Braves have not yet announced their starters order. It's going to be Matt Whistler, and Sean Newcomb will make his major league debut.
Got a shot of Matz there. It will be his 2017 debut. He's been nursing a recovery from some surgery in his arm. I believe it was a bone spur that was removed.
Nothing in 2 for T.J. Rivera. And that's off the plate. A lot of high stress pitches for both starters in this game. A 1-0 game. A few base runners. Julio's had just 2 perfect innings. They were the first and second. Base runners in scoring position just about every inning since. And this one's lined toward left and right at Matt Kemp. Julio Teheran is pitching great. 6 innings of 1-run ball, but now he needs a little offensive help, and who better to get things started than Matt Kemp. He'll go to work for the Braves in the 6th. 1-0 New York. Next to a Curtis Granderson home run in the 3rd inning. Julio Teheran on the short end of the score to this point. Hopefully that'll change for the Braves with Matt Kemp coming up as you enjoy a live look in from our Xfinity cam high atop the Comcast building beyond the right field wall.
Changes for the Mets.
Jose Reyes is going to come in. Wilmer Flores is going to move to second base. And Paul Sewald is going to come on and pitch.
Sewald has been getting raked lately. Fastball, slider, fastball in the low 90s. He's given up 5 runs on 6 hits in his last inning and a third.
So Sewald will hit 6th. Jose Reyes will hit 9th. And Matt Harvey is out of the game after 5 innings of shutout 4-hit baseball tonight.
Pitch count got him, I guess.
That's line toward left, and Matt Kemp will hit one off the fence. He's on his way to second, and the Braves are in business on a leadoff double. And like I said, and just like you said, when their starters aren't doing good work, their bullpen hasn't been doing a lot of good work of late.
Sidearm, fastball, didn't do anything, didn't sink, just came right back to the barrel of Matt Kemp. Second among left fielders in average, first in doubles, just added to that.
So a golden
All-star,
opportunity
vote for him.
Oh, sorry, Joe. You're right. A strike for Matt Adams, who has walked and has lined out. Big play in this game came in the second when Wilmer Flores alertly threw to the plate and got Matt Adams on a force play with the bases loaded. Matt Harvey pitched out of that bases loaded jam. The Braves have had 2 runners to second base since.
Get him over or get him in. Sewald had a good spring. He almost made their club out of spring training. One of the last guys cut.
Sewald delivers, and Adams skies it out of play. Sewald's a Torero. He's a product of the University of San Diego. He was a teammate of Chris Bryant. He has been a closer throughout his minor league career. He never started a minor league game. So perhaps this is a man they're going to groom. For Juris Familia is out. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Adams. And kept the tying run at second base with nobody out. And Adams didn't get it.
Boy, threw those couple of fastballs by him. Must have been hard to pick up because they were right around 90 miles an hour. Matt was late. Elevated him too, and lefties came in hitting .364 against him.
So Matt can't advance the runner nor bring him in. That brings up Suzuki. Kurt's 0 for 2 tonight. And fouled away by Suzuki. Strike 1. Texas is trying to help out the East tonight. They're beating Washington. That's 5-1 at Nationals Park. Cashner and Roark are squaring off. It's also Tanner Roark bobblehead night in D.C. And Suzuki. Watch that one dance low and away. Even count. Phillies and Cardinals tied 2-2. We told you about the drama in St. Louis today. Cardinals have lost 7 straight. Miami all over the Pirates. 11-4 that game's in the 8th inning. Rebecca showed you the mammoth home run hit by Giancarlo Stanton over the batter's eye in center field at PNC Park. She and Brian Jordan will have all the news and notes after our game. Fouled away again, a ball and 2 strikes.
One thing he's done is get ahead of Adams and now get ahead of Suzuki with that tying run at second base. You saw there Darno wants him to elevate another fastball.
Popped up right behind the plate. Darno is there. Neither Adams nor Suzuki can move Kemp to third or bring him in. Now it's up to Danny Santana, who's 2 for 2. If the Braves are to tie it up in this sequence in the 6th inning. Two singles for Danny. The second one a bunt hit. He might have gotten a break not being called out of the baseline when Matt Harvey's attempt to get him at first base hit him in the back. Great stop. 1 ball, no strikes.
Lefties have worn this guy out. Maybe he'll make a mistake to Danny. And the Braves can tie it up at least.
He's not giving Santana much of anything, is he?
No, and right-handers are still hitting 259, 260 against him. They're not going to wait around for ball 4.
So they threw 3 out of the zone and then went ahead and waved Santana to first. Now Dansby Swanson a chance to be a 2-out hero.
I don't mind this at all, right-handed on right-handed for Dansby right now, because of how he has been very patient and waiting and keeping his hands back. The balls he's been hitting hard are pitches that I think even a couple of weeks ago he was jumping out a little bit, taking his hands with him. He's done a good job of waiting right now, and it might work to his favor against Seawald, that sidearm delivery.
Anderson shades him toward right field. Big gap in left center and down the left field line. 2 on, 2 out, 1-run Mets game. Johan Camargo has grabbed a bat. He would hit for Julio if Swanson can keep the inning alive.
Good patience. As part of the order during this homestand has been darn good. They've scored a ton of runs.
Seawald about to make his 20th pitch. And Dansby fought it off. It's now 2-1. Darno with the sign. Now the 2-1. He was late. And I think you're right. He must hide the ball. These are 90, 91 mile an hour fastballs that the Braves aren't seeing until very late.
The only guy that's gotten around on it was Matt leading off the inning. Everybody else is tardy.
So the 2-2 is taken low. Full count. And again, Atlanta will have the runners in motion. Kemp at second, Santana at first.
That was a hard sinker. Darno didn't help him at all. He was just trying his best to make sure he caught the ball. No chance to frame it.
Runners go. Line drive to left. That's going to get down and go to the right. Here comes Santana around. Dansby comes through with a big 2-out hit, and the Braves are in front.
Outstanding kid. Great at bat. Clutch at bat. 3-2 pitch. He went late on that one. Inner half. Actually, might have even been a little in off the plate. Could have been. And he just raked it to the wall. Got to do a little clapping on that one.
So here is Camargo. The Braves lead by a run. And the Mets bullpen, which has been so problematic, rears its ugly head again for Terry Collins. Now Dan Warthen's on his way out for a visit. Two doubles, a strikeout, a pop out, and the intentional walk. The Braves have jumped in front. Dansby Swanson will take a 5-game hitting streak into action tomorrow.
Yeah, I know it's only the 6th inning, but that's one of those things where you wonder about putting the go-ahead run on base, even with the bottom part of the order. You're taking a chance, and they were pitching around Santana and eventually put him on.
For Camargo. Found away at the plate. It's an even count.
I've said it before. I'm really liking this guy, Camargo. He's got a good arm. He's a big, rangy kid, and he is just about every at bat he hits the ball on the barrel.
One ball, one strike. Good eye. On June 5th, Camargo started at shortstop, doubled, tripled, home 2. He's ahead in the count here, trying to add a little insurance with Swanson at second. The pitch is popped up, but over the Mets dugout.
You know, of course, that this game will drive you crazy.
Yeah.
You've heard that? Julio Teheran's last start in Cincinnati, 5 innings. He gave up 11 hits, 2 of them homers, 7 runs in 5 innings, and he won the game. Tonight, he gave up the home run to Granderson and was in line to get the loss.
That just missed, going for extra bases. Well, that's the argument that a lot of the new wave statisticians talk about. Get rid of the win for a starting pitcher, because so much of his performance is predicated on what the offense does in support, not necessarily what he did. And to their point, okay, he did his job. He gave up 1 run, but his offense gave him none. Two. back to the mound, and Sewald is out of the jam, but not before the Braves touch him up for a couple of doubles. Dansby Swanson with a full count, ripped one to left, plated two, and Julio Teheran now in line for the victory. Braves lead the New York Mets, and it was Julio Teheran's turn to pitch, and we were hoping he would have a good game at SunTrust tonight. He certainly did, allowing just 1 run in 6 innings.
Yeah, on 4 hits. He issued a couple of walks. In fact, he walked 3 guys, but in one case he was pitching around the hitter, so I don't count that one as much. He had good stuff tonight, and he had a very good fastball and used it. And he's in line for the win.
Beg your pardon, Joe. There's his line in game 1 of the series. He's our SunTrust confidence play of the game. So now things swing into the arms of the Braves bullpen, a bullpen that's been very good since a rough outing against the New York Mets about a month ago. First man called on tonight is Eric O'Flaherty. He's got Curtis Granderson starting off, and a strike.
Eric was in 1 game of the homestand against the Phillies. And gave up a couple of runs. An inning and 2/3. A hit and a walk, 2 runs scored.
Granderson tried to influence that call, but that worked against him. It was a strike. May 3rd, the Braves bullpen had a awful time. Bartolo Colon started, got shelled, and Braves relievers allowed 11 runs in 5 innings in a 16-5 New York game. That really was the low point for the Braves relief staff, because since then collectively the Braves bullpen a .277 earned run average, 2nd best relief ERA in the game over 31 games.
A lot of things to like about this ball club and the way they've been playing. Do they have their spells? Yes, they do. They had an awful spell in Anaheim defensively. Do they have some bad starts? Yeah, they had a few of those in a row too from starting pitchers. But things lately have been very consistent. You talked about the consecutive innings without an error. You just showed a great graphic of the last 31 games for the bullpen.
Granderson swings and misses. O'Flaherty carved him up. Good start to the 7th. 1 out. And it's a 1-and-done appearance for Eric O'Flaherty. Granderson neutralized. He homered and walked, and Eric struck him out. So Brian Snitker will go to his bullpen again with Travis d'Arnaud coming up. Jose Reyes to follow. 1 out. Bases empty. Atlanta still leads. on TV. You can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports South and Braves baseball with you wherever you go. It's presented by Nissan. Chip and Joe with you from SunTrust Park. Game one of our big weekend with the Mets. It's been a terrific pitching matchup. Julio Teheran has outdueled Matt Harvey. Jason Mott is the third Atlanta hurler to work.
Yeah, Jason had his 14 consecutive scoreless appearances interrupted in Cincinnati with a solo home run, but he's pitched brilliantly. First batter's retired, 12 of 17. Worked a third of an inning a couple of days ago against the Phillies. Recorded a strikeout.
Not bad for a guy that was just sitting around waiting to see if anybody would call. The Braves did. And after having his contract selected from Gwinnett on April 27th, he pitched May 28th against Milwaukee. 42 saves for Mott as a Cardinal back in 2012. Another veteran, seasoned guy who can pitch in any situation for you in relief. And that one fouled straight back off the bat of Travis d'Arnaud. One ball, one strike. I would think Mott's another guy for right-handers that would have trouble picking up the ball with that, like a side saddle set position.
And then everything moving away from you, hopefully, especially that cutter.
Fly ball, that one's well hit. It's over Kemp's head and it's over the fence.
Goodness.
d'Arnaud just homered, and that ties the game. Two solo homers for New York. It's now 2-2. And with one swing, no chance for Julio to win the game tonight.
As I said, hopefully moving away from him. This looked like a fastball. Yeah, not a whole lot unlike the pitch to Dansby Swanson.
So we'll start over. Here's Jose Reyes. Base is empty. And one out. Gotta wonder how much is left for Jose Reyes. He's hitting a .187 and is 0 for his last 21. There was some talk that the Mets were going to maybe try to get Reyes moved over to shortstop and have Asdrubal Cabrera moved to third base. Cabrera doesn't have much range anymore, but for whatever reason that hasn't happened. Cabrera is a free agent. Position change at this point in time in his career might be a little tough to take. As a liner caught by Adams, Reyes hitting some tough luck there, and he's retired for the second out.
Nice reactions by the big cat over there at first.
So after Reyes lined out and after d'Arnaud hit the homer, that's going to end the evening for Jason Mott. The Mets with two solo homers have tied it up. at SunTrust Park tomorrow with country star Jake Owen. Tickets are almost gone, so get your tickets tonight. Go to Braves.com/tickets. Doubleheader tomorrow beginning at 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock game 2. But business to attend to first tonight. 2-2's your score. The Mets have tied it up on a d'Arnaud homer. And now it's Ian Kroll's turn to pitch. He'll face Michael Conforto.
Well, you kind of knew when O'Flaherty came in to pitch to Granderson that this was going to be a mix and match finish to the ball game with a 1-run lead. But it's changed now to a tie ball game. It's still, he's still trying to go lefty on lefty and match up.
Conforto's 0 for 3. He's a good looking player. And he takes a strike.
A lot of good-looking young hitters coming into the game. It's nice to see.
One ball, 2 strikes. Braves will have the top of the order coming up in their half of the 7th. The pitch is cut on and missed, and that'll end the inning. d'Arnaud ties it with a solo home run to left. We start anew, 2-2. Here we go, home 7th. Who better to get things started than Ender Inciarte in what is now a 2-2 game. Ender's had a terrific year. He is all-star worthy, as we showed you earlier tonight. And he is certainly enjoying his new surroundings here at SunTrust Park.
380 mark, you take that no matter where you play. Of course, Charlie Blackmon plays in Colorado. Everybody will say, well, yeah, when he plays at Coors Field. I don't care, that guy can hit.
Yeah, he sure can.
I don't care where it is.
And this guy on the mound can sure pitch. Jerry Blevins has been one of the very, very consistently good relievers for Terry Collins.
Look at those splits, though. Lefties 102, right-handers 375. Wow. His last 2 2/3 innings, he's been knocked around. 4 hits and a walk, and he's given up 2 runs. One of those hits was a homer. Fastball, curveball, big sidearm curveball to lefties. How about these splits for Ender? Something's got to give.
I was going to say strength versus strength in the late innings now.
395 against lefties.
Breaking ball popped up. Reyes in foul ground is going to have room on the warning track. And Blevins gets the Atlanta leadoff man to pop out. One away. Here's Phillips. Guys like Blevins are living proof that you don't have to throw 95 miles an hour to be effective.
Especially if you're left-handed. So let's see if those splits hold true. He got the left-hander. Let's see if Brandon can get on.
Brandon's 0 for 4 against him in his career. That's off the plate. Ball 1. Texas did beat the Nationals 5-2. Miami over Pittsburgh 12-5. That one's in the 9th inning. Here it's 2-2 in the 7th. Tampa Bay's winning tonight at home 13-3 over Oakland. They had horrible news. Kevin Kiermaier, their all-star center fielder, slid awkwardly into first base last night and has a hairline fracture in his right hip. He's going to be out at least 8 weeks. And I bring that up only because it breaks your heart to see great players get hurt. And Tampa Bay is such an exciting, intriguing story. Small market, small budget. Yet year after year they put a real representative club on the field, and one of their best players is out for a while. It's a shame.
Sliding at first. When will they ever learn?
Three balls and a strike for Phillips. Broken bat roller toward Cabrera. And he makes the pipe first in time. And 2 out for Nick Markakis. Big crowd tonight, 36,791. The announced attendance. We're going to have big weekend crowds the rest of the way here at SunTrust Park. Doubleheader tomorrow. Day game Sunday, then we head to Washington briefly for a 3-game series, and then we're right back home. Heavy home schedule in June, so fans around the Southeast, if you haven't made your plans,
come see us.
Come see us. A lot of great games coming up. Marlins, Giants, and Milwaukee will be the next homestand for the Braves. Blevins turns it loose to Nick Markakis, and he skies one to center, and Curtis Granderson is over a step or two, and he puts it away. Blevins with more terrific work. 3 up, 3 down for Jerry Blevins, and we are still tied at 2 apiece. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for New York. All-star worthy performers for the Atlanta Braves. Let's start with the leadoff man, Ender Inciarte.
Well, we just showed you a rash of numbers on him and where he ranks in the league and hitting at home. 11th in the league overall in batting average. Matt Kemp has been among the league leaders in hitting all year long. He's right now 6th. 15th in slugging percentage. 3 hit games, 7 of them. And for Ender, a leadoff man, tied for 8th with 40 runs. I don't know what else those two guys have got to do. I certainly don't know what else Ender can do defensively to get everybody's attention. But both of them very much all-star worthy. I vote for them.
Yeah, can't wait. The all-star game again in Miami on the 11th of July down at Marlins Park. That'll be fun. And look, like we said at the start of the broadcast tonight, offense hasn't been the problem for the Braves this year. They are swinging the bats very well tonight. It's been a very well pitched game, and I think somewhat surprisingly, Harvey, Tehran, and this ballpark combined, we thought it might be a slugfest. It hasn't been.
No, it hasn't been. Both guys were on their game. You know, Harvey pitched around a lot of base runners, threw a lot of pitches, had to come out after 5 innings because he had thrown about 105 pitches. And Julio battled, was in line for a loss. Suddenly he's in line for a win. That got taken away by the home run by d'Arnaud. But let's see if the Braves can put something together and win this thing in the last couple of innings.
Yeah, 18 of 21 games at home for Atlanta. And after the 4-game series split with the Philadelphia Phillies, the Braves still have a chance with some clubs coming in that are having their problems to make some hay in the standings and get closer to 500. The Braves start tonight's action at 26 and 32 for the year.
See the strawberry moon.
Oh, there it is. 8th inning. It's Asdrubal Cabrera leading off. He's 0 for 3. Fly ball headed for the gap. Ender on the run. And he's got it. How comforting is it as a corner outfielder to know that you've got a guy like Ender Inciarte playing in between you?
Unless it's a ball hit like that one that is not going to get to the warning track and it's still a tweener, you've still got to make the move toward the ball. Otherwise, you're pretty much knowing you just go back up. You just head toward the warning track and make sure you've got his back if he somehow doesn't catch one.
He's something. Here's Bruce. 2 for 3. A double, a single, and a strikeout. Jay Bruce will take a 6-game hitting streak into game 1 of our doubleheader tomorrow. Everybody kept saying, well, Jay Bruce had a bad year last year. Jay Bruce didn't do this, didn't do that with the Mets, right?
Yeah.
Certainly he was disappointed after being traded from Cincinnati, and still hit 33 homers, drove in 99 runs. That's not easy to do, and that is extremely valuable.
And he'll do it again. He's certainly on pace to do that again.
And his home ballpark, a much tougher hitter's place than Cincinnati. Got to the big leagues for the first time in 2008 out of Beaumont, Texas. The Mets acquired Bruce for Dilson Herrera and a left-handed pitcher, Max Wortel. The Reds really like Dilson Herrera. They think he's going to be their star infielders of the future.
As soon as they decide what they're going to do with Cozart.
Also a pending free agent. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Reds are going to be an interesting team to follow. They're in Los Angeles tonight, starting a West Coast trip. Cincinnati just swept St. Louis. The Reds are only 2 games out of first place at the start of action tonight, and suddenly 1 under 500. And all those injured Reds pitchers are getting closer and closer to coming back. Full count pitch for Jay Bruce. And we'll do it again.
Ian's throwing hard and he's got good stuff tonight, so this is a very good at bat by Bruce to stay alive.
Strike 3 right down the middle. Second strikeout for Kroll. 2 outs. And Wilmer Flores coming up.
I mean, right down the middle. Locked him up for some reason. Guess he got caught guessing. Matchup time.
So Kroll with a perfect inning of relief with a couple of strikeouts. He did nice work. And Brian Snicker bought a little extra time for Jose Ramirez. So Ian Kroll, nice work. We'll see what Ramirez has in store for us with 2 outs, bases empty in the 8th.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Let's go places. And SunTrust.
Chip and Joe with you from SunTrust Park. 36,000 plus on hand tonight. And they have seen a terrific big league game. 2-2 is your score. Jose Ramirez is the 5th Atlanta pitcher.
Coming off some back-to-back outings that were excellent against Cincinnati and Philadelphia. 1 inning each, so total of 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts.
Sharply hit. Dansby, nice play. He's going to fire to first. Adams off the bag and with the tag.
Couldn't get much on that throw, but he got a little help on the other end. Great play by both.
Take care of Wilmer Flores in the 8th inning.
Sure was, and it was a hard hit ball too that he backhanded. And from his knee, not able to really get anything like a crow hop or anything working with any momentum on his throw. That was the best he could do. Matt Adams was there to help him out. Great play, saved a hit.
So Kemp, Adams, and Suzuki are coming up. Matt Reynolds is into play second base. He'll hit 6th. And on to pitch is the palindromic pitcher for the Mets, Fernando Salas.
His 30th outing of the year. Fastball, curveball, split. Fastball in the low 90s.
Two in the 8th. Matt Kemp's 1 for 6 against Mr. Salas. That one hit is a double. He struck out in 3 of the other 5 at bats. Deep in the hole, Cabrera, long throw. Kemp is going to beat it. Infield hit for Matt Kemp, his 3rd hit of the night.
What do we have on that all-star graphic? 7 3-hit games. Now he's up to 8. Perfectly placed ground ball between 3rd and short. Cabrera did all he could do.
So he showed you Dansby's great pick at short. Matt Adams made the play at first. Let's see if he can unload here. He's 0 for 2 and is riding a 6-game hitting streak. Ball 2.
Laid off the split finger pitch. Got to make him get the ball up. Try not to offer it anything that starts out around the knees.
Now 2-1. That struck out on a 91-mile-an-hour fastball back in the 6th against Paul Sewald. Didn't get that one in the upper 80s.
Only got that one up.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit too high.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Just missed. Again, it's been north-south, not east-west for the man behind the plate. And as long as you're consistent, then can't really gripe. Mark Rippicher has been. Very short lead by Kemp at first. And now the 3-2. Runner goes. And it's skied foul.
That was a good deke on Kemp's part. Had a short lead, didn't draw attention to himself, so he got a nice jump.
Again he goes, and Adams swings and misses. Darno's throw is right on the money. It's a strike him out, throw him out, double play. And the bases are clear for Kurt Suzuki. So Brian Snitker rolled the dice. Adams couldn't make contact. And now it's up to Kurt Suzuki to keep the inning alive. Kurt in a dry spell. He's 0 for his last 13 as a Braves hitter. $16 RBIs for Kurt Suzuki. 8 of those RBIs have come from his 3 home runs. We'll need 1 more RBI to take the lead.
Throwing that high fastball and getting some swings and misses. A little contrary to how he works and gets outs.
One ball, one strike. Back our way, we'll do it again. This time it's 1-2. Too short. Cabrera's got it, and that's the inning. So after the Braves scored 2 in the 6th against Seawald, nothing doing in the 7th and 8th, and we go to the 9th, still not at 2 apiece. His 50th birthday. That's Braves win. For that to happen, Jim Johnson needs to pitch a good 9th inning, and the Braves have to push across a run and win it here on Friday night at SunTrust Park.
That can be accomplished.
There you go.
Jim picked up a save last night against the Philadelphia Phillies. Perfect inning, his 12th save of the year. He's retired 22 of 25 first batters he's faced.
Well, the first batter he'll face in the 9th is Lucas Duda. Down and away for Duda. Not a bad place to go, but it missed. 1 ball, no strikes. Duda 0 for 2 with a walk. Mets are at a stretch of 18 games in 17 days without a day off. And 14 of 21 games away from Citi Field. Fly ball slicing down the left field line. And a fan from Conyers, Georgia is going to come away with that souvenir.
Bet he knows Dave Baker.
Well, everybody knows Dave Baker, don't they?
Laser Baker. Yes. The answer to that is yes.
One ball, 2 strikes. Look at where Matt Adams is playing at first base with Duda up there. I mean, his left foot is about 10 inches off the foul line. There's no way Adams wants to allow Duda to get a ball past him down the line here. Now the 2-2 is caught on and missed. So and another first batter retired for Jim Johnson. Duda strikes out.
Back foot breaking ball and a beauty. Swings right over the top of it.
Pride of Tulsa, Oklahoma, Matt Reynolds checks in. 2nd round pick by the Mets in 2012. He played in 47 games in New York last year. He had wrist surgery after the season. Back to the mound. Johnson's got that. And that's a wrap for Reynolds. He's out number 2.
What did you say? Never mind. Took me a second. A good one though.
Well, thanks. Every now and then the synapses fire right. Here's Curtis Granderson. He's homered, walked, and struck out. Talk about true pros. Curtis Granderson is exactly that. He has had a terrific big league career. Plays every day, wants to play every day. Had some gigantic homer years in the American League with the Yankees and the Tigers. Last year hit 30 home runs. But if you went down the list of guys that hit 30 home runs, his name might be one that would be left off because he let off so much.
Right.
But 30 home runs, 59 RBIs for Curtis. A few years ago, Curtis did some TV work for TBS when they began their baseball coverage. He won an Emmy.
He was really good. He will be good if that's what he wants to do when he gets down playing.
And low. 3 balls and a strike. 36 years old, Curtis Granderson lives in Chicago in the offseason. The 2016 Roberto Clemente Award winner, Marvin Miller Man of the Year, and the Lou Gehrig Award winner. And just took a walk. You go through the personal section, the background section, and some of the major league media guides, and there's a paragraph or two from a few guys, sentence or two, things they like to do when they're away from the diamond. I mean, you could go through the Mets media guide and read every one of the bullet points that they give you, and it's a full page of philanthropic efforts by Curtis Granderson, which is why he won those aforementioned awards.
Yeah, when you win all 3 of those, that says a whole lot about what you do and who you are.
Popped up by Travis d'Arnaud right behind the plate. Suzuki tosses away the mask and on the warning track makes the play, and that retires the side. How about a walk-off win on Friday night? 7, 8, 9 on the lineup card coming up for the Braves, tied at 2. Last at bat wins in 2017. This would be a great place to make it number 8 against their arch rivals from New York. It's a 2-2 game with Santana, Swanson, and then we'll see coming up for Atlanta. Fernando Salas is still out there in relief for New York. Join us at SunTrust Park tomorrow. 2 games in one day. Game 1 at 1 o'clock. Game 2 at 6. Day after the second game for the free post-game show by Jake Owen, brought to you by SunTrust Bank. There are good seats available for both games. Get them online at Braves.com. Santana's been on base 3 times. He has singled in the second. He bunted for a single in the fourth. Was intentionally walked in the 6th with 2 outs. That was a key play in the game. Count got to 3-0. They waved him to first, and then Dansby Swanson hit a 3-2 pitch into the left field corner to score 2 and give the Braves a brief lead. So Salas out there for a second inning, gets ahead, strike 1.
Danny started 0 for 19 and now he's up to 229.
So if my math is correct, he's put 229 points on his batting average.
Way to go, Bulldog.
I did that for Chris Capor, Georgia Tech stat man to your right. Am I right, Chris? Just to be sure. Okay, thank you. Pitch popped up left side. Reyes drifts out. Cabrera drifts over as well, and it's the shortstop who makes the play, and there's out number 1. Dansby Swanson's reached twice. The big blow in the 6th inning
On a 3-2 count. He had a great at bat and didn't miss that fastball in, turned on it and put the Braves on top. Drove in Kemp and Santana. And the Braves had a brief 2-1 lead.
And it's our AARP getting to know Dansby Swanson. A terrific homestand so far.
He's on the right track. He's now hitting 5 straight. 10 for 26 in June.
Seems kind of funny to have a 23-year-old being our AARP feature, but on a team of a lot of guys that are 30 and 40. But Dansby gets the award tonight. No balls and a strike. Other than Sewald's work, the Mets bullpen has been really good tonight. It's bounced off the plate, and Dansby's down 0-2. Rio Ruiz will hit next. It'll be one and done for Jim Johnson. Good work for Jim out of the bullpen. Walk and strikeout for him. Up the middle, it's another hit. Dansby's going to think about two. He's going to hustle and beat the play. A routine ground ball to center field. And Dansby Swanson went flying around the first base bag and gets into scoring position with one out.
Well, he noticed Granderson over in right center, and Granderson didn't hustle over to that ball right away. And Dansby was thinking about this right out of the box. I watched him right out of the box watching Granderson. He was thinking two all the way. Look at his teammates.
So a ground ball double for Dansby Swanson. His second of the night. And Terry Collins will go to his bullpen again. As Salas surrenders his second hit of the game. Great hustle by Dansby Swanson. He caught the Mets flat-footed, and now a single could win it for Atlanta in the bottom of the ninth. Why he played so hard every day for the New York Yankees, even in the twilight of his career. And he said quite eloquently, because there might be someone in the stands who never saw me play before. If you haven't seen Dansby Swanson play, and this was your first glimpse, how can you not like what he just did?
And you saw the way Granderson loped after that ball and then fielded it like an infielder, real flat-footed. So he wasn't able to get much on the throw. And once he realized, uh-oh, he's going to second. Just great heads-up play by Dansby. Something we talk about all the time. His baseball intellect. He's a baseball player. He sees things other guys don't see.
And he's in scoring position for Rio Ruiz, who will face Josh Edgin. Already 29 games for Edgin this year. Rio's 1 for 2 against left-handed pitching this year. A hit could win it. A ground ball. That's into left field. Here comes Dansby. Around third. Conforto double clutches. And the Braves have won it in the ninth.
How about the kids? The hustle of Swanson and lefty on lefty. Rio comes through.
grandfather always said they pay these guys to run hard 4 times a game. Dansby Swanson ran hard, turned a single into a double, and Ruiz on the first pitch pops one into left field for a game-winning hit, the 3rd walk-off win for the Braves at SunTrust Park. And in thrilling fashion, Jim Johnson picks up the win. Fernando Salas is the loser, and the Braves are 3-2 on the homestand tonight. Great night for the kids, as Joe said. Kelsey Wingert standing by with Rio.
Rio, your first career big league walk-off. Take me through the emotions that you're feeling, able to come through for your team like that.
I mean, nothing while I was in the box, but afterwards, I mean, it was pure joy. I saw him come up with it, bob a little bit. I knew Dansby was scoring. He was scoring regardless, and I know that. He was going.
All right, Rio. You're feeling a little cooled off there now.
Can't breathe. It hits you. You never think it's that cold.
It is that cold. But whenever you see your teammates that excited for you, just take me through when you see them all running at you, getting the Gatorade shower right there. What are you feeling right now?
I mean, we were able to get that win, and I'm glad to be thankful. And I'm thankful to be part of that, especially that last part and getting us to the last run to get us home.
For Dansby Swanson to stretch that out into a double and to put himself in scoring position for you to drive him home, what does that say about how aggressive this team is playing and how much it's paying off for you guys?
I mean, I think anybody that's counted us out is way off. I mean, we're going to battle to the end. I mean, you saw tonight, we came in and it's anybody on the bench or who's in the starting 9 already. I mean, good job by Julio keeping us in that ball game and that bullpen, keeping us in the game as well, and you know, gave me the opportunity, and thank the coaches for giving me the opportunity to come in and put us up.
You mentioned Julio, this starting rotation. You guys have gotten 4 great starts from them in a row here. The team is clicking everything in all cylinders. How much momentum do you guys have going in your direction right now?
I don't know, but we're excited to keep playing ball right now. It's still early, so we can still keep racking up them W's and maybe find ourselves somewhere in October.
Well, Rio, thank you so much for your time. Rio Ruiz with a walk-off single, a night he will never forget. Congratulations. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, Kelsey, thank you very much. The offensive heroics late. Let's not forget Julio Toronjo. Last 4 games, the Braves starting staff has combined for 27 innings pitched.
Yeah, they're pitching deep into the ball game. That's making the bullpen sharp, but great defense you're seeing here, and clutch hitting. Fun to watch tonight.
No extra innings in game 1. A double dip tomorrow. Plenty of great, exciting things to talk about at SunTrust Park where the Braves walk off for the 3rd time. 3-2's your final. Braves Live presented by Xfinity is coming right up.